This video is sponsored by LogRocket, the front-end performance monitoring application that gives you the power to see why bugs are happening and experience them just like your users. Try it today at logrocket.com/YT and check out LogRocket at the link in the top right of the video to get 14 days for free. Hey developers, how's it going? In this video, I am showing you icons. We're doing an icon roundup where I'm going to be showcasing some of these toolkits and libraries that you can use for your next web developer project. What is so great about icons is that, number one, they're super simple to use. What's also great about icons is that they're very, very small, so it's very inexpensive to implement them. And once you find areas where you can use an icon instead of a photo, you're really getting good with that savings. Icons are so small, but so powerful and so beautiful when it comes to accenting user experiences and user interfaces. So whether you're working on a React project, you're doing something with Bootstrap, you're doing something completely from scratch, icons come in so very handy. The purpose of today's video is to show you these various toolkits, and hopefully you'll find something that you can use in your next project. So without further ado, let's take a look at some icon toolkits. The first one I would like to show you is called Font Awesome. If you are a front-end developer, if you're a UX UI person, you've probably heard of Font Awesome. There's a good chance you may have even used it in the past. Number one, they have a ton of icons. Number two, they're really well designed. Number three, they're consistently designed. This is a freemium model, so if you want their entire library of icons, there's just about 8,000 at the time of this recording. If you want to get the whole enchilada, it's going to cost you money, but fortunately, those 1,500-ish free icons are really good too, and you can get a lot of mileage with those 1,500. All of that said, the downside of Font Awesome is that everyone uses it. It's so popular that you see it everywhere. If you're trying to stand out with your project, Font Awesome may not be the best choice. Let's scroll down here just to give you a look at what these Font Awesome icons look like. They're always developing new ones. They're coming out with new ones all the time. They even have one for COVID-19. They have a category for space, including a space invader and a cat in a spacesuit, because why not? I mean, cats like space too, I would presume. They have a science fiction section and so many more. A ton of categories: sports, vehicles, design, users, travel, hands. You've probably seen this one somewhere. This is so commonly used, and they're just beautiful. They're so clean. They're so, again, easy to implement. And if you go down here, you can see the syntax used. One of the critiques with Font Awesome, and some of these other toolkits as well, is that the syntax is kind of redundant and it can be a little confusing at first. As you can see here, let's see, we can pause this here. So let's go to something else. Wait till it pops up. Let's do this little teacup, or coffee cup rather. So this is the I for icon, and then you have to name the class. You have a few choices here. If you want a solid cup, you would say FAS, Font Awesome Solid, and then you would say Font Awesome again with FA dash, name the component, and then name the size using Font Awesome as the prefix there. So if you can see right here, so here's extra small, here's small, and right there is where that specification changed. If we go to 2x, really blow that up, that would be right here. And then, as you can see, these other ones are implemented in the same style. So I can pick a style. Let's say I want a light Twitter bird, and then I'll say, you know, I don't want a dove. I'd like a coffee. I can go over here, pick the color, and then rotate it. Why not? And so this would be the final syntax right here. Also, what's great about Font Awesome is that they're accessibility minded. It's good for desktop, not just mobile. There are a lot of great things about Font Awesome, but again, a lot of people are using it. So let's check out Tabler. This page of icons is more of a repository, if you will, of various sites and their icons. So we start out with feather icons, and then if you go down here, there's a lot of feather icons. Whoops, I must have gone past one. Here's Font Awesome. So these are some repeats from the first site we went over. But if we go back up here to the feather icon section, you can see that the syntax is eerily similar to Font Awesome. And really, if we wanted to check out what they're all about, we could just go directly to their site for the Feather icon page. Simply beautiful open source icons. Now, unlike the first example, Font Awesome, this is not a freemium model. All of these are free. Just like with Font Awesome, you can experiment with the sizes here. And this is what is great about a lot of these toolkits, is that the UX UI for the person visiting is really nice, and you can experiment with what these might look like. The biggest difference between Feather and Font Awesome is that, as the name implies, with Font Awesome, those icons are a font. Whereas with Feather, they're SVGs. So it really depends on your preferences and needs as a web developer if you want to go the SVG route or you want to go the font route. The other big difference is that Feather only offers about 280 free icons, whereas Font Awesome has over 1,500. So definitely do some assessing and some thinking about this before you decide on a library or a toolkit. See how many icons they offer in the first place, because some of these are modest, even though they are beautiful. These are nice looking, and you can change the size right here to experiment and change the stroke width and all that. But if they don't have what you need, not going to be a good investment of your time going through all these. But going back to Tabler here, this was just one option. So that was Feather. This is Font Awesome. No need to go over that again. They also have a flag section. After that, we have payments. This is especially handy if you're working on e-commerce applications. These just come in so perfectly when it comes time to checkout or showing your user what payments you accept. So going on to the next one, this is Lordicon. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but it is worth noting because there are 50 free icons. What I do like about these icons is that they're animated, they stand out, and they're just out of the ordinary. They catch the user's eye. Now, in contrast to Font Awesome, these are things you see all the time. I have not seen these animated, these loop animation style icons very much, if at all. And they're just so fun. They're so eye-grabbing, and they communicate a message using a very small footprint. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this one because most of these are paid, but there are 50 for free. Worth exploring if you're trying to push the boundaries a little bit with your icon usage. Moving on to css.gg. These are open source CSS, SVG, and Figma user interface icons. This library is so flexible. They're available in SVG, Sprite, Style Components, NPM, and API. So really developer friendly. This is probably the most developer friendly set that I've come across so far, just because it is so flexible according to your needs and according to your project. So in contrast to Feather, where was Feather? In contrast to Feather, where there's like 280 some, this one has 700. Again, like the other sites, this is really handy. You have a little preview box here where you can experiment and get some real-time feedback on what these icons look like. So if I wanted to see what they look like in green, I would just hit the green, and then it changes. I can toggle the animations on or off. Also, if I want to install it via NPM, I can do that very easily. And if I wanted to download, I can do that conveniently right here with all these different formats available to me. These almost have a Font Awesome feel where they are very consistent, they're very beautiful, and they're very practical. The organization here is pretty good too. If you don't want the entire life, if you just want to browse a certain category, you can. You have alerts, arrows, brands, buttons, code, so on and so forth, even down here to time. So there's 13 icons related to time. Once you find an icon you like, let's just check out this paperclip attachment icon. It will show you everything about it. We can copy the CSS, we can download the CSS. They even have a TSX option if you're working with React and would like to implement some of these icons. Speaking of React, let's mosey over to materialui.com. Material UI is a user interface framework for React. And of course, Material UI, being the robust framework that it is, it offers a section on icons, giving you guidance and suggestions for using icons with Material UI. So you can install with NPM, you can install with Yarn, no surprises there. But just let me show you what these icons look like. Now, this one has a lot to offer because they do include the 1100 plus official Material icons, and they've converted them to SVG icon components. And you have your options here. You can do filled, outlined, rounded, two-tone, and sharp.
Hey there, it's me again. Just wanted to take a second to say that this video is brought to you by LogRocket, a front-end performance monitoring solution. If you like this video and would like us to keep doing ones like it, all you have to do is click on any of the links in the top right of this video to sign up for a free trial. That's it. We hope you enjoy the video.
And if we click on any of these, we can see the syntax we need to use to import these into our projects. Material design was actually developed by Google. And so this icon library is another example of a toolkit that is clean, it's accessibility minded, it looks good, and there is a lot to choose from. Like I said before, there's over 1,100 icons ready to use in your Material UI project. However, this is not the only one. We also have React icons. So these use ES6 imports to include the icons that your project is using. And if we want to check out what they actually look like, there are a ton of icons here. We have everything from the cloud to Gatsby, if you're working with a static site generator, to Patreon. We could go to grommet icons, and there are a lot here. We have cars and cameras. If we go to Bootstrap icons, we have a lot for those as well. GitHub, Octacons icons. Oh yeah, this is quite a robust toolkit. And again, this is for use in React projects using the import statement from ES6. And just like all the rest of these libraries, the implementation and the importing of these is super straightforward. To recap the icons we looked over today, number one, the Godfather Font Awesome, used everywhere, the web's most popular icon set and toolkit. Number two, Tabler, potato, whatever you want to call it. They have feather icons, a repository of sorts that you can browse. Font Awesome, they have some flags down here, and a payment area. We also went over Feather. We checked out Lordicon, which has some really neat loop animation icons in addition to some others that are just pretty eye-catching. Remember though, there's only 50 free ones. You gotta cough up if you want the whole library. We also have css.gg, which is arguably the most robust and developer-centric of all of these toolkits. We also went over Material UI's library. And finally, we went over React icons. Icons are a great way to spice up a project. They improve your UX UI, and they can really give you some savings when you start replacing videos, photos, and other media-rich components of your application with these icons. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.